or excuse me, let me take y'all back, because I forgot. Baby, we are doing something new. Y'all not used to seeing your girl, baby, in her business casual. If you're new here, I'm Bianca, and we do all things mom life. I'm a mom. I have 2 kids, Jason Tate. I'm 30, okay? I am a solo mom, so I pretty much take care of my kids by myself. I am a young professional, so I've been in corporate America for like 8 years now, post-undergrad. I am a fitness enthusiast, so I founded Be Stink Fitness, so you guys can head over there, bestinkfitness.com, and make sure that you be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the family, girl. I'm doing something new for you guys, okay? I'm doing something new because the other content on the channel is pretty much geared towards, vlog life, it's geared towards, picking up your self-esteem. It's geared towards me talking to you guys about beginner weight loss. It's geared towards pretty much everything besides what I do on a day-to-day basis every single day of my 9 to 5, which, let's talk about it, because, in real life, right? Monday through Friday, I lead a team of individuals. So some of those individuals are outside of the United States, and some of those individuals are in Atlanta. So just to give you guys a little background, okay? And hopefully you guys can read between the lines, decipher, where you need to connect the dots. I am very careful about, not putting my professional work information, just things that shouldn't be on the internet, right? But what I am here to do is talk to you guys about kind of the journey along the way, my different developments from being a contract worker all the way until now, leading a team of individuals, and what that looks like, and kind of what the differences were along the way. That is what we're here to talk about, girl. And so, as you see, I got my tea. So it's gonna be a time, okay? Cheers. So, I got my spearmint tea in my cup. Cute little glass that I just got from Amazon. But anyways, just to give you guys some background about me, I am from Memphis, graduated high school, went to undergrad in Chattanooga, UT Chat. And immediately after graduating, let me take y'all back, because I forgot. Let me take you back. Let me scoot up. Let me take y'all back a little bit, because I wasn't even gonna talk about this, and I'm not gonna talk about this, but just side note, sidebar for us to make this another video. I worked at State Farm as a State Farm sales agent before I did anything. So while I was still in Chattanooga, my last semester, and I graduated college early, but my last semester of undergrad, I worked in insurance. So while I was finishing up my studies, I was also in congruency studying for my casualty license, my auto license, my life insurance license, my health license. It was 4, and I was studying for those. I was taking those tests. I passed those tests, and boom, I was a licensed insurance agent. Okay, so that was a whole thing, but we're not talking about that. But just know that that was my very first professional type of job as an insurance agent. So that was that. Anyways, bump Chattanooga, right? Speed forward a little bit, I'm in Atlanta, okay? I'm in Atlanta, and this may be a separate video too, but that's not the purpose of this video. The separate video was, actually, I can tie that into this video. No, I'm not gonna, but I am going to use it as a segue. After that, I worked in Alpharetta, Georgia. So I moved from Tennessee to Georgia because I was working at Alpharetta at Honda Finance Company, American Honda Finance Company, and which leads me to what I'm even talking about here today. So what I noticed that I had not noticed in Tennessee, and maybe it was going on, but just because I immediately graduated undergrad and went to Georgia to work, was this whole thing of, or business, or I hate to call something a scam. I hate to call something a scam, so we're not gonna call it that. We're just gonna say this whole ordeal, this this whole process of contract workers, maybe that was never even a new thing, and maybe that was just a new thing to me because, like I said, I was in undergrad. I did not work in college, and if I did work in college, it was just not anything that was related to my profession or what I was trying to be or what I was even going to school to do, and I regret that, but we'll talk about that here in a moment. But when I got down to Georgia, everything was entryway contract work, okay? And what I mean is, and maybe you guys can relate, so you could not even apply directly to a position. Like I could not, I could, but it just didn't operate like that anymore. As far as going to the website, going to the career section, scrolling down, right? Clicking on the job you wanted to fill out, filling it out, attaching your resume, boom, submitting it. It did, but it did not work like that at the same time because a lot of what was going on at that time in Atlanta was, and I guess here in Tennessee, I don't know, but from here on out, we're talking about Atlanta. I was in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for 5 years. So a lot of what we're talking about is contract work. It's like immediately when you fill out a job application, for a job, it was contract work. At very low wages. There were these agencies, down there at the time. I think it was like K-Force. I think it was like Parallel. I don't know. It was these agencies, right? Apple One. Oh my gosh. But you essentially worked for the agency. You were a contract worker. So on your behalf, the agency would negotiate a rate based upon your already job experience. Girl, what job experience do we have fresh out of undergrad, right? I mean, I didn't have any experience fresh out of undergrad. I was in undergrad trying to study, trying to make sure my GPA was up, right? So anyways, but these contract companies, or agencies, they would negotiate a rate on your behalf, and then you would start working at the job, right? And whatever contract term that was, whether that was 6 months, whether that was 12 months, whether that was 18 months, a lot of them pretty much ran from like 6 to 8 to 12 months of contract work. And there was always this promise of a contract to permanent position, right? So if you do well enough, or if you perform well enough or strong enough in your 6-month role or 6-month contract, then there would be kind of this dangling carrot, right? That you would be hired on permanent with the company, right? Which is what we all want. You get benefits, you get a salary. And I think that, if you were raised like me, right? Your parents raised you to go to college, to get a job, a salary job. And you enter the workforce. That's how I was raised, okay? I got traditional parents. We from Memphis. And so, yeah. And, I don't know if I just didn't have a high enough GPA, a strong enough GPA. I don't know if, my college just wasn't all that high of an accredited college. I mean, I went to University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. I mean, I don't really know, like, if that's what I'm saying. So how they negotiated that rate on my behalf, I don't really know. But one thing that you guys should know is that I was paid very lowly for contract work. I was not paid the highest out of my group. It was a very low rate. I don't know why. And the negotiations of that, which means that I think that for all of the contracts, whether you were with a different agency or whatever that is, right? I don't want to get too much into that because I'm still employed. Just kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about kind of that dating dancing game that you play with contract workers, give you guys some inspiration. Maybe you are in undergrad and you currently don't have a job, but you're about to graduate and enter the workforce, and you come out thinking that you're gonna already be making $42,000 or $50,000 or $60,000. I think that is what we are all thinking, or what we all thought, that you would come out of undergrad and that you were making, you know, a fair salary. I mean, why not? Why not think that? Why are we already out of undergrad and you guys are already asking us for 5 to 7 years of experience? Girl, of what? We just graduated. People, oh my gosh, people just really, if I think about that too long still to this day, and I'm 30, I've been out of school. Like I said, I graduated college early. Some of that does not make any sense to me. But if I did have an opportunity to do something differently, being that if I would have known that when I graduated, I would have been picked apart based on all the experience that I did not have, that I did not gain while I was in undergrad trying to study, girl. I probably would have at least like worked at a bank, probably would have tried to intern or gain some apprenticeship, some sort of way, you know, at somebody's wealth management firm. I don't really know. Like I said, I did do the State Farm stuff, but when you get into sales, it's kind of hard to get out of that realm. And that's with anything, you know, on your resume, right? Like once you start filling out job applications and you have one distinct set of experience on your resume, and if it just happens to be sales, then you're gonna be, you know, marketed toward or cachet toward or cookied toward real estate jobs or other sales positions or other insurance positions or just other positions that require you to do sales. And guys, I suck at sales. But anyways, this is definitely for the undergrad girl, college girly, you know, and you were like me. I went to school for finance. I graduated with a finance degree. But you are wondering just what is life like after you get out of college? Just what is it like? What is the real world like? That was one of the scariest things to me. And girl, I'm here to give you some tips, girl. I'm here to let you know. So for me, that's what it was like. It was not being able to directly get my foot in the door. So I had a contract position. It was just like contract position. I mean, it was really just, you know, two, right? One company over here, one company over here. Left company A very quickly. That was not what I was trying to do. Did not have too much time to waste because again, girl, I was trying to like chase the money, right? I'm in Atlanta, I have an apartment. Girl, I got bills to pay. It is the real world. We are living in the real world. And so anyways, so then here I am at my new job, right? Got a new job. It's really prestigious, really astute, you know, definitely the look, very nice place to work for. This is a place where you would want to work, right? And then you enter in through a contract position. And let's just talk about that a little bit. And I got my little notes over here in my cute little notebook because all of my notes are in this notebook. It's literally called Notes. And everything is in here, just all of the stuff that I want to talk to you guys about. And hopefully drop some gems, drop some, you know, information that you can pick up and just honestly, girl, just give you the tea. This is my story. This is not the story of a lot of other people because girl, when I got to Atlanta, there were already 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds making $100,000, $200,000. Let me make sure I finish my tea, girl, hold on. I'm gonna be talking to you guys about just the different phases, you know, of me being a contract worker, going from a contract worker to a full-time permanent employee, you know, staying on the job, you know, doing what I had to do in order to get promoted to a senior, you know, being on the job, staying on the job, doing what I had to do to get promoted from a senior, you know, to people management position, supervisor. So it's just all of that type of talk and really just giving, you know, like I said, little tips, tricks, and giving you girls the tea. So let's get started. I think that the hardest thing or hardest part about being a contract worker, just being in that whole area is just, it's a great area. But let's look at everything from a glass half full to, you know, a glass half empty type of thing. I like to give the pros with the cons. I like to give a positive perspective as well as, you know, the real, what it is. And I think that in this season, you guys are dating each other, okay? You're dating the company is dating you, right? Everybody's trying to get a feel for what's going on, your work performance, some of your strengths, weaknesses, and contingent upon, you know, the level of complexity of the type of work that you do, your improvement, your performance, your, you know, value that you add to the company, your significant contributions, you know, how you work, right? How well you're doing on the job, how well do you perform in that role? All of that can really be summed up into, again, contingent upon the job role that you do, maybe into 6 months. There are some job roles where the level of complexity, the day-to-day, is so vast and so fast-paced, and there's just so much going on. There's so many entities, there's so many moving parts, there's so many different departments, there's so many things going on, acquisitions, integrations, whatever it is, that it may very much so take more than 6 months to kind of gauge an individual's work performance. I mean, a year goes by really fast, but also let's be like really mindful of that, right? Because again, I came on with other individuals. We all came in as contract workers, and you know, some of those individuals that I started with were hired on permanently sooner than I was hired on permanently. And you know, a lot of the time, that little dancing game that people play, a lot of that was, oh, well, it hasn't been enough time, you know, or in the allotted contract amount of time, we have not been able to see, you know, how you've performed, or, you know, how the significant contributions that you've made, or, you know, we need a little bit more time to assess if we're a good fit for you, if you're a good fit for us, right? And they kind of dance around in this gray area, because remember, girl, all of this is a numbers thing, right? All of this is a numbers thing, because when you're hired on permanently, right, you get salary, you get your benefits, whether that's 401, whether that's, you know, whatever type of retirement plan, you know, flex plan that you have, whatever that is, you get paid time off. And I think that the thing that sucks is during the contract, during that time that you're just a contract worker, and not all contract work is the same. So let me just clear that up really quickly. I'm not talking about the contract work where you get paid $200 an hour, okay, and you are set to work for 6 months, getting paid $200 an hour, and pretty much this is what's gonna happen, right? You're guaranteed that, right? No, I'm talking about in the state of Georgia where you could get fired for any reason, right? You know, there's not necessarily a reason that a company has to, what is it, like at will, no will, something? I'll put it on the screen. So that contract work, that is ideal. That is what top experts or experts in, you know, a specific field, or very skilled individuals, sometimes, you know, like even if they're retired, they'll just pick up like contract work and get paid like really good rates for that work. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about the little agencies that exist in these states that negotiate these rates for, you know, people who just graduated college, you know, recent grads, or individuals having a hard time tapping into the corporate workforce, you know, and let's just say the actual position is paying, I don't know, $22 an hour, right? And how they negotiate, how the agency negotiates that rate, let's just say, oh, well, we're gonna give you $17 of that 22, and then we're gonna take the remaining, the difference, to make the 22, right? So the agency is getting paid per hour based upon the work that you're performing, girl, on the job. Who wants to stay in that? Who wants to do that? Baby, because baby, I'm not working hard for you, okay? And that is such a dance that I kept running into over and over again. You know, whether I was looking for another job or not, there were a lot of individuals that were really smart during that time, and they kind of identified that, and they already knew. They were like, hey, I'm not trying to play this game. So it's been 6 months and y'all ain't hired me, I'm gone. Child, I don't know why I didn't do that, but I do know why I didn't do that. I do know why I didn't do that. One, because I was from Tennessee and I was working in Georgia, okay? I need a job. I need to be able to pay my bills. I do right now at that moment in time, you know, this was still a place that I wanted to be. And baby, I can't go back home. I can't go back home because my parents raised me a certain type of way, so I gotta get it. So we thugged it out. I think that another thing that sucks about the contract work is the fact that if you don't work, you don't get paid, right? And that's like a big whole thing. And that honestly sucks because here you are, you went to undergrad, you're this young professional, you really busted your butt in college, and you really get out thinking that you're gonna be really making, you know, like $42,000, $50,000, $60,000, and here it is, baby girl, you're barely making 33, okay? That sucks. In Atlanta, where all the rent is $1,300, $1,400, $1,600, Lord knows what it is now, okay? That was 5 years ago. And so I think that really sucks. And you know, these jobs absolutely know what it is that they're doing. Like, it's a numbers thing, right? Like if within the budget that year, they're already promoting people that are on the job. They're already, you know, hiring other contract to permanent employees under the same department, right? Like, it's a budgeting thing. How are they going to budget the money as well? So if you did not really wow them, you get what I'm saying? If there was nothing like significant or stellar about your performance, then girl, why would they, you know, want to hire you to be a contract worker? And so some of these things I'm able to sit now and reflect back on some of the things that I would have done differently, how I would have carried myself differently at that point in time, you know, in order to get hired on permanently sooner. Y'all, they danced around and played with me, I think like 3 times. So the first 6 months had passed and I did get hired on, and then the second 6 months passed, and believe it or not, girl, I did not get hired on. That third 6 months passed. This is 18 months that I worked as a contract worker, not getting any paid time off, not getting paid holidays, do you get what I'm saying, girl? This is contract work. And you know, so there was really a big dance there. And if you've been following my self-esteem series, and if you're not following that series, then girl, you should be following that series, because that is what I even talk about. You know, being able to identify when you deserve better, what are the contributing factors, the decisions that you're making that, you know, have caused low self-esteem or low self-esteem inflicting, you know, habits upon yourself, you know, like things like that. So you'll be able to find those videos on the channel. Maybe I'll put a couple of them over here for you guys to check out. But if you want to jump from this series to that series after this, you want to pick it up, girl, I understand, because that's what I'm here for. I'm not really embarrassed. At that time, was I a little embarrassed while I was actually in it? Yes. But during that time, I did the same work as everybody else. Matter of fact, I did harder work. Matter of fact, the work that I did then was in the system with the integration, doing the testing as a contract worker, working hand in hand with PwC, working hand in hand, trying to, you know, look at the errors, find out the errors, identify the errors, like all of that, right? So by the time I did get hired on, oh, baby, of course, because I know it now let's really get to where it is. But while we're still talking about the entry, you know, level, here are just some things that I wish that I would have just done differently, just like all in all overall. And the first thing is coming into the job with more confidence. And I think that this is directly aligned with my self-esteem series, you know, picking yourself back up. How do you pick yourself back up? You know, again, go follow that series. But if I had if I had an opportunity to just kind of redo some things, I definitely would have came onto the job with more confidence. There was an individual who came in with me, and this person was just like really confident. I'm like, wow, have they done a job before? Have you been here before? Like, have you done all of this? Like me, like I was really like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna do all of this work? how am I gonna get this done? Like, I really don't even know what I'm doing. I was scared to ask questions. If somebody told me something, you know, and I didn't really know what they were talking about, like, I didn't try to really ask questions. I just kind of sat there and really didn't do anything. Oh, girl, and that is so bad. That was so bad. Meanwhile, you got this other individual over here, and I didn't know it at the time, but that person was just as clueless as me. They were kind of lost. The only difference is that individual was a little bit more self-assertive than me at that time, which is completely crazy because I am a self-assertive person, right? I think I was intimidated a little bit. Like, the company is huge. You know, I've never really worked, having worked at State Farm and having worked at Honda Finance was not really as astute as the company, you know, that I had landed the contract role with. And so, you know, I just found myself just like really kind of intimidated. So if I had done something differently, I would have just come on with a bit more confidence. Girl, if I did not know how to do it, I probably would have said, okay, so what do you mean? Okay, where is that? Where is that system? How do I log in? What are you talking about? Can you show me, right? Because a lot of coming into this organization, there was not a lot of formality. There was not a lot of training. There was not a lot of any of that. It was very much so, get into work. This is what needs to be done. Let me know if you need something. And that let me know if you need something really didn't mean let me know if you need something, if that's what it was. So I just, you know, if you get what I'm saying. So I just really wish that I would have been a little bit more confident and a little bit more assertive. I really wish that I would have acted like I knew how to do something. I was so afraid to make a mistake. I was so afraid to make a mistake. I was like, what if I miscalculate something incorrectly? What if I fumble somebody's, you know, money on their account? What if I, you know, whatever it is. So make that apply to you and whatever it is for your job role, right? Girl, don't be afraid. I think that is the first tip that I have. Get some confidence, start operating out of confidence, and don't be afraid to make a mistake, because little did I know we're making mistakes on the job every single day. And I think that that's the beauty about working together and working as a team. You know, like, everybody was making mistakes. You know, not saying that everybody was just making mistakes every day, but mistakes do happen and we're human, right? There's nothing on the job that cannot be fixed if it is that you do happen to make a mistake. So let's just see, girl, what else do we have on here? Another thing that my competition, because really, girl, these people are competition. At the contract phase, at the contract point, you guys are all competing for a spot at the table, a spot on the team. And you know, that can really make you feel insecure. That can make you feel really not sure of yourself. That can make you feel a bunch of different type of ways, just kind of discouraged, you know? And I think one thing that companies and, you know, people that sit in very high positions don't really do a good job at all the time, especially if they're not in the day-to-day, is being able to identify, okay, well, this person learns this way, this is their set of strengths, versus this person doesn't really learn that same way. They have a separate set of strengths and skills. So, you know, how could we leverage both to achieve a common objective, right? I don't think that they're doing a lot of that, because that just takes a little bit extra brain power. That takes another extra thought, another extra moment, a lot more consideration. It takes a lot of things that, you know, may not necessarily, that you don't get in a fast-paced environment, okay? But one of the things that I wish that, or the second thing that I wish that I would have done, and that I recommend that you do as well, behind being confident, I would have been more confident if I studied what it was that I was doing. Okay, like, this is me. I'm fresh out of college, baby. So of course I know how to study. Why I didn't think to connect the two and begin doing that on my job, I don't know. Because that's absolutely what the competition was doing, okay? That's absolutely what they were doing. So I'm just putting you guys on. I didn't know that people were leaving their job. And now this is me, early 22-year-old, right? Like I would get off of work and then go to the bar, okay? That's kind of what I was doing. And I would have taken that role a little bit more seriously, because as time progressed, I started to spend more time with my work, really delve into things. Was I doing those things on the job? Yes, but it's the time that you are sitting with yourself, sitting with the information and really learning it front to back, back to front, getting acclimated with it, being comfortable with it, like really being well versed in the information, that you become more confident, if you get what I'm saying. And so I really wish that I would have taken it more seriously and really started to study a lot sooner than what I did, because what I didn't know is that's what my competition was doing. And every single day that person showed up to work and they were more confident, they knew a little bit more, they were able to work a little bit faster than me. Because when I left work, baby, I'm gone. I left work. Work is here, I am there. So I was just gone and I was not thinking about no work. But if I had to do something differently in hindsight, that's probably what I would have done. I probably would have also, hold on guys, 1 second. Almost done with my tea, or am done with my tea now, and that's spearmint tea. And spearmint tea is supposed to be really like good for like your acne. And I don't know if you guys can see, but I do still have some acne. So the third thing that I would have done differently is behind the confidence, behind being a little bit more assertive and being a little bit more proactive in my studying. The third thing that I probably would have done differently was just raise my hand for things a lot more sooner. And let me just tell you this, even still to today, I'm still not raising my hand for a lot of stuff. But the reason why I'm not raising my hand today for a lot of stuff is a little bit differently, and we'll probably get to that in like maybe part 3 or part 4. And girl, this is gonna be a part series. So this is part 1. In part 1, we're talking about what it's like to be a contract worker fresh out of undergrad. Okay, from my personal experiences. And I would love if you guys commented down below and let me know what your personal experiences were like. If you ever had to work for an agency as a contract worker, was it favorable? Was it not favorable? How did it make you feel? Did it build your self-esteem? Did you learn a lot? What was the skill set that you learned? Like, just girl, talk to me and tell me what it was that helped you during your journey when you were a contract worker, and what are some things that you would have done differently if you got an opportunity to do it again. So raising my hand to do something. The thing about me is I like to learn, and I was afraid to raise my hand because I was afraid that it was gonna be something that I didn't know how to do, that I wasn't good at, that I probably wouldn't have done a good job at. And again, all of this is self-confidence. All of this is believing in yourself, self-confidence. Like schoolwork, undergrad work is very differently than the work that you are doing when you're out here in the real world. But like things that I do know about myself, that I like to learn, that I'm very articulate, that I am very studious, right? That I pay attention to detail, that I notice some things that others are not able to, that I am able to, and this was learned along the way, but being able to piece something together. I am a leader. I am able to, once I learn something, I can get it, got it, baby, it's there, and be able to teach it to 5 other individuals. And I was able to do this even at the contract level, right? And keep in mind, I was a contractor for 18 months. So 2 6-month terms served after the initial contract fulfillment. The next thing that I would have done, and this is gonna be something that I recommend to you guys, like probably in every single video, because this is actually something that I did do, and I'm so happy that I did do it. I don't know what's up with like the new school people or like the people today, but I guess y'all didn't, take notes. Baby, I took notes. And some of those notes I used 2 to 3 years after I initially had written them down. Like, I have always been the type of learner, I have always been the type of individual student to take notes, because whatever it is that you're saying, one, I'm not gonna remember everything, and two, I need to have written it down, because not only did I hear it, but now I'm writing it, like that practice, right, to be able to retain the information. Take notes, take notes, take notes. I have my own notes, and my notes were so to the T that, you know, I was able to redo something like without having to ask someone else to help and assist me, right? So a lot of people, when you're taking notes, your notes need to be very detailed, and figure out a way to get almost everything down on that piece of paper that the person said, or that they demonstrated, or that they showed you. Whether you're writing notes or whether you're typing your notes out, you know, you're grabbing screenshots or you're grabbing snippets, you're putting that into your Word document, you're creating your own SOP, whatever that is. It needs to make sense to you. It needs to have all of the questions that you were wondering in your head. It needs to have the answer to that, the step to that, the process to that, the resolution to that in your notes, so that while you're working through it, you have the answers already to the questions that you're thinking in your head, in order to get the process done in a manner that is efficient and that is accurate, okay? So that's that. So if you're not taking notes today, baby, let me just tell you something. Nobody is talking to waste their time. And that's the biggest thing for me nowadays when you know, I'm working with an individual. I'm gonna let you know, I'm not talking to waste my time. So when I talk, you need to be writing notes. You need to be following that SOP to figure out, you know, if what I'm saying is aligned with the information that we have in this written document. And if there's a question that you have, please ask me. Okay, so that is something that I actually did well, was to take notes. And that's something that I recommend that you guys do as well. And I hope that you guys are finding these tips very useful, because I think that that's one thing that works in our favor, being fresh out of college, is the ability that we still have, you know, those studious habits under our belt. We're still fresh, you know, we are still young, and we still are motivated to, and have the capacity and understanding to take notes, to study, and to apply that information on the job. So that is something that worked in my favor, girlfriend. And let's just do a lip gloss check. Don't really know if I need any, but I have this cute little lip gloss to match my blazer. Okay. Two more things, guys. And I'm kind of doubling back around to when I said I would have raised my hand for more things, but learning really quickly what's important on that job, right? So that's the second to last thing. Which customers are the high value customers? Which customers are bringing in the most revenue? Which accounts are bringing in the most revenue? What are our high dollar clients, or, you know, what are our highest expense accounts? What, you know, and make that apply to whatever it is that you do on your job, right? Finding out really quickly what, or which accounts, or which customers, or, you know, which methods, or which processes, or which systems, or which programs, you know, finding out really quickly which of those hold the most merit, right? So if you are working for somebody, meaning that you have a supervisor who has a manager, who has a director, who has, you know, on and on and on. So if you are in a working position, you know, in a contract position, if I were you, one of the things that happened very different, and this story is going to unfold so beautifully, right? Because my competition, right, or the people who are also coming in as contract workers, that's what they did. They raised their hand to say, hey, I want to be doing the important stuff. I want to be doing the stuff that matters. I want to be doing the stuff that matters to you guys. I want to be doing the high dollar stuff. I want to be doing the complicated stuff, right? You know, really making it seem like the work that they were doing was boring. It was, you know, just kind of, you know, mundane, that they needed more of a challenge, right? And again, keep in mind, I was not doing this at this time. At this time, I was deep working with individuals, identifying errors, looking at the current system versus this new system, comparing reports. What's the difference? How are they similar, right? This is what I was doing on the side, which what a lot of my management at that time really probably would not have identified that was as important as what Bobby Joe was doing over here, raising their hand to ask for more work, to ask for more complex tasks, right? But again, the story is gonna unfold beautifully, so please stay tuned. But I also do still recommend that, right? You want to make sure that you're aligning yourself with things that are important on the job, things that actually matter, things that matter to your boss, things that make their job easier, things that take a load off of them. So can I sit with you and see, you know, what it is that you're doing, and then possibly you could pass that off onto my plate, and that can be a responsibility of mine, right? So then you are associating yourself with individuals within the company who represent or oversee or facilitate or are, you know, have direct involvement with those important or significant things within the company. And I hope that makes sense, right? You are positioning yourself to get hired on permanently, right? Because now you're doing something that is valuable, or, you know, it's your responsibility every single month or every single week or, you know, twice a month to get this one important thing done every single month. So now we need you to get that done, because now that's a responsibility that you took over from an individual who was a permanent employee within the organization. And I hope that makes sense. So that is something that I probably would have done, to raise my hand to make sure that I was aligning myself with important responsibilities and tasks that my superiors or my management would have thought was important at that time. And then lastly from that is just the relationships, right? The relationships that we just touched on, you know, because obviously once you get to, you know, managing or overseeing or reconciling or, you know, putting together, you know, these high expense accounts or these, you know, forecasted reports or whatever it is, you start to do things of value. Now you're making friends and building rapport with individuals that are already working as permanent employees within the organization. Okay, so yes, girl. Baby, I just gave y'all the tea, baby. That is the tea from B. Once you get to building up these relationships, then the individual wants to work with you, right? Then you become identified or identifiable as the go-to person, right? And so now if you are considered valuable by other internal individuals, right? Especially individuals who, you know, are saying good things about you or who have tenure in the company, and you're outside of the organization, now maybe we need this person. Maybe this person does have value to add to our organization. You know, let's just see. And so then, girl, they bring you on board, okay? And like I said, I don't talk to waste time. If I'm talking, I'm not wasting time. So hopefully you found the information in this video valuable. Again, this is part 1 of part 5 or however many parts you guys want it or need it to be, baby, because baby, I got the tips. I got the tips and tea. I got 7 years worth of tips thus far, baby. So you can't tell me I don't have the experience now. Baby, however you want the information, formally, informally, you just let me know, okay? I'm so glad to have you here, girl. We got so much to talk about. If you've made it this far into the video with me just yapping, I hope by now that you've liked the video, shared the video, saved the video, subscribed to the channel, and hit the notification button so that when I drop part 2, baby, that you are here to get that tea too. As always, thank you guys for watching. So happy to have you here, girlfriend. I hope that you do decide to make us a decision to be a part of the family. And girl, I'll see you in the next one.